Imagine waking up to a world where a young democratic socialist becomes mayor of the biggest city in the United States, flipping the script on politics as we know it. But here's where it gets really intriguing. The ripple effects of this shift could challenge everything from housing to income inequality. Stay tuned as we dive into today's headlines, and you might find yourself questioning what progressive really means in modern America. Good morning, everyone. Let's kick things off with some groundbreaking election news. Zohran Mamdani, the Democratic nominee, has been chosen as the 111th mayor of New York City. https://www.theguardian.com/news/2025. He triumphed over former Governor Andrew Cuomo and Republican contender Sliwa. At just 34 years old, this Democratic Socialist achieved victory by capturing over 50% of the votes, making history as the city's inaugural Muslim mayor. Cuomo came in a distant second with slightly more than 40%, and Sliwa garnered just over 7%. Mamdani's win wasn't isolated. It coincided with broader Democratic successes nationwide. For instance, Abigail Spanberger was voted in as Virginia's first female governor. https://www.theguardian.com/US-news/live NYC mayor election Zohran Mamdani Andrew Cuomo results latest. Camp is https://www.theguardian.com/US/live Andrew Cuomo results latest. Camp is https://www.theguardian.com/US/live Andrew Cuomo results latest. While Mikey Sherrill overpowered the Trump-endorsed Jack Ciattarelli in the New Jersey governor's race. https://www.theguardian.com/live 2025/nov/NYC mayor election Zohran Mamdani Andrew Cuomo results latest. Camp is ShareBit URL page with :609858089A 14996315839. In California, voters backed Gavin Newsom's initiative for new redistricting maps that could add 5 more congressional seats for Democrats. https://www.theguardian.com/US-news/nov/NYC mayor elections. Mamdani actually outpolled all his rivals put together. With 97% of votes tallied, he secured 50.4% of the total, compared to Cuomo's 41.6% and Sliwa's 7.1%. This landslide shows just how much support he drummed up, potentially signaling a hunger for change in the urban landscape. So, what does this spell for the city? Mamdani is pushing for bold reforms, like freezing rents for about 2 million residents to help keep housing affordable, a big deal for families struggling with rising costs. He also aims to boost the minimum wage to $30 per hour, which could lift many low-income workers out of poverty, impose higher taxes on the wealthiest individuals to fund public services, eliminate fares on buses to make transit accessible for all, provide universal childcare so parents can work without worry. For beginners diving into politics, think of it as a plan to redistribute resources more fairly. But the real test will be whether he can implement these ideas amidst budget constraints and opposition. The burning question is how much of his ambitious agenda will actually become reality. And this is the part most people miss. Could these policies ignite a revolution in city governance, or are they too radical for the status quo? What are your thoughts on balancing progressive ideals with practical economics? Jump into the comments and let us know. Next up, a heavyweight in American politics has passed away. Dick Cheney, the ex-vice president and Republican titan, died at age 84, as confirmed by his family. https://www.theguardian.com/US-news 2025 No. 4 Dick Cheney, vice president, Republican Bush, dies. Serving as White House chief of staff, a congressman, defense secretary, and vice president, Cheney was known for his immense power, especially influencing the less seasoned George W. Bush during his terms. What legacy does Cheney leave behind? His historical footprint is largely shaped by the choice to invade Iraq. As defense secretary in the first Gulf War against Saddam Hussein, Cheney later partnered with Bush to justify a second invasion, claiming Saddam had ties to al-Qaeda and the 9/11 attacks, plus stockpiles of weapons of mass destruction. Come March 2003, when US and Allied troops marched in, no evidence backed those assertions, and both were quickly debunked. For those new to this, it's a classic example of how intelligence can shape decisions, but it raises debates about accountability in wartime choices. But here's where it gets controversial. Some hail Cheney as a defender of national security, while others see him as an architect of misguided wars that cost countless lives. Do you view his influence as a strength or a flaw in American history? Share your perspective below. Shifting gears to international human rights, Nasser Abu Srour, a renowned Palestinian writer, recently released after over 32 years in Israeli jails, reports a sharp escalation in abuse during his final 2 years of imprisonment, coinciding with Israel's treatment of prisons as an extension of the Gaza conflict. https://diary/war/4 freed Palestinian author Nasser Abu Srour. Israel prisons, Gaza war. Abu Srour, now 56, whose memoir about his time behind bars, https://theguardian.com/books/2024/April 25th/The Tale of a Wall by Nasser Abu Srour, writes, is poised to snag a major global literary award soon, was among more than 150 Palestinians with life sentences freed under the Gaza truce. Last month, officials from Gaza's health ministry informed The Guardian that numerous disfigured remains of Palestinians were sent back from an infamous Israeli jail. https://www.theguardian.com/world/2020/mutilated bodies Palestinians held notorious Israeli jail Gaza officials. Additionally, a UN panel documented 75 Palestinian deaths in Israeli custody from October 7, 2023 to August 31, 2025. The Israeli Prison Service, for its part, rejects allegations of torture. This section sparks heated debate. Is the prison system a necessary security measure or a source of unjust suffering? For newcomers, it's a reminder of how conflicts bleed into everyday institutions. What's your take? Accountability or necessity? Weigh in with your opinions in the comments. In other headlines, a UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres warns that Sudan's civil war is escalating uncontrollably. http://www.theguardian.com/world2025/nov/Sudan civil war spiraling out of control, Secretary-General says, urging an immediate ceasefire and cessation of hostilities. Former soccer icon David Beckham, now 50 and owner of Inter Miami, was honored as a knight by King Charles yesterday at Windsor Castle. http://world2025/nov/Sudan civil war spiraling out of control, Secretary-General says, urging an immediate ceasefire and cessation of hostilities. Former soccer icon David Beckham, now 50 and owner of Inter Miami, was honored as a knight by King Charles yesterday at Windsor Castle. http://www.theguardian.com/world2025/nov/Sudan civil war spiraling out of control, Secretary-General says. www.theguardian.com/football/2025/nov/4/arise Sir David Beckham, knighted by King Charles, Windsor Castle, expressing his deep pride in the accolade. Separate U.S. courts have urged immigration authorities to pause the deportation of after newsletter promotion. Stat of the day, Peru has cut diplomatic ties with Mexico amid the asylum request of ex-Prime Minister Betsy Chavez, who's facing probes for insurrection. https: skip past newsletter promotion. Stat of the day, Norway's massive sovereign wealth fund plans to oppose Elon Musk's staggering $1 trillion compensation package in Tesla. https://www.theguardian.com/technology2025 Elon Musk Tesla pay deal Norway Wealth Fund annual shareholder meeting. Holding a $17 billion investment in the company, Norges Bank voiced worries over the compensation's sheer magnitude, raising questions about executive pay in the tech world. Don't miss this. Surviving amid India's deadly waste heaps, spanning miles and towering over 200 feet, colossal trash piles in Delhi symbolize the nation's waste management struggles. Journalist Hannah Ellis Peterson explored the communities dwelling in their harmful shadow. https://guardian.com/news/video/1/10 Martinez Peterson, revealing how residents depend on these sites for livelihood, even as they suffer from the toxins. It's a stark example of environmental injustice, where economic desperation clashes with health risks. Climate Check. A film traces Republicans' shift on global warming. Back in 1988, George H.W. Bush remarked, "Those who think we're powerless to do anything about this greenhouse effect are forgetting about the White House effect." This quote features in the new Netflix documentary, The White House Effect. https://www.theguardian.com/film/The White House Effect Netflix documentary Climate, which charts the climate crisis's transformation from a bipartisan concern to a politically charged battleground. For beginners, it illustrates how science can become polarized, influencing policy debates. Last thing, how DJing aids Ukrainian soldiers' healing. At Ukraine's Superhuman Center, the Enter DJ program trains injured veterans in music mixing, using upbeat tracks to support their recovery. https://www.theguardian.com/music2025 Nov 04 Ukraine War Veterans Enter DJ Music Therapy Superhuman Center. Veteran Roman Cherkes shared, "It instantly shifts my mindset and lifts my spirits, especially with drum and bass beats. This innovative therapy shows how creative outlets can rebuild lives post-trauma." Sign up for the US Morning Briefing. First thing lands in thousands of inboxes daily. If you're not subscribed yet, join now. https://www.theguardian.com/info/2018 Sep 17 Guardian-US Morning Briefing. Sign up to stay informed. Get in touch. Have questions or feedback on our newsletters? Drop us an email at newsletters@theguardian.com.